Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, social media, sports, music, everything really. Depending on the guest, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest is an actor, storyteller in a lot of cool shows and movies, and he will star soon in the film Superintelligence, and he will star in the series Your Honor. We're with Jock McKissic. Jock, welcome to Popternative.
All right, thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. It's kind of cool because it's kind of like the calm before the storm, because you have some really cool projects that are going to be disseminated out and everyone will get a chance to watch. And it's kind of like, I'm sure it's a kind of cool, interesting time for you before these projects come out. How's that been?
Yeah, it's kind of like you said. I got a chance to work on a lot of these projects right before the pandemic, of course, not knowing there was going to be a pandemic. And I was in the middle of Your Honor. We were on episode 6, and so everything got shut down, and I was like, "Oh man, this is nuts! Like, what do we do?" And one of the things that kind of helped me get through it mentally was I knew that I had all these projects in the can, like Superintelligence, and then also Breaking News with Yuba County, which is with Allison B. Janey and Mila Kunis and Regina Hall.
Yep.
So knowing that you have something that you've done already that's probably going to come out soon after the pandemic kind of wraps up, or, we get back to normal life, which we're kind of getting back to it now.
Yeah.
It definitely helped me get through that time period, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people were very busy during the pandemic too. Like the amount of content, I can't even imagine how many movies are going to come out in the next 5-10 years and people are going to be like, yeah, I wrote this during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. I write as well when I'm free, because I'm a firm believer in, you have to create your own material.
Yep.
So I wrote 4 scripts during the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wrote a script too. I dabbled. I wrote a little bit of a short horror film, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, dope. I love shorts. I wrote 2 shorts and 2 features.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you find it kind of harder sometimes to write a short because you don't have as much time to put there's not much space? They're short, right? You got to fit in a lot in 8 to 10 minutes or 15 to 20 minutes rather than a feature, right?
Yeah, I feel like with the short, you got to kind of draw in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And then give them enough, but not too much, and kind of leave them on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, all the shorts that I've ever written and produced, I would always leave it on a cliffhanger and then go finish the feature.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, well, where would you take the story if it was a feature? I'm like, oh, well, I have it. You want to read it?
Yeah, no, exactly. I feel like sometimes though, because there's kind of that kind of, sometimes it doesn't apply, Jock, but sometimes there's that every page is 1 minute of your script, right? So if you have a 15-page script, it's a 15-minute movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll be writing and sometimes you don't realize that you have 40 pages.
Yeah, you're like, oh, whoa, this is turned into a feature.
For sure. For you specifically, in terms of, because I called you I enjoy referring to people like yourself as storytellers, because that's basically what you do. Whether you write, you direct, you act, you are telling stories, Jock. So for you specifically, Jock McKissic, when did you decide that you want to be a storyteller?
At age 6, I knew.
Specific age, I like that.
Yeah. At age 6, I knew that I wanted to act and tell stories, because I grew up in Alabama, and there wasn't really many outlets to do so. But I would watch a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies, and Oprah Winfrey. I would watch a lot of her interviews with my grandparents, and I would always see these great people that she would interview, and the effect that they had on people. And I knew as a 6-year-old, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So at 7, I did my first role, which was Martin Luther King Jr. in a school play. And I remember the whole "I Have a Dream" speech, and killed it. So yeah, ever since then, I've always known that I wanted to do it. Yeah, I've taken breaks here and there, but once I got into it in 2011, I've been going pretty much full speed ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Superintelligence and Your Honor are not out yet, but without kind of giving out too much details, can you kind of a little bit like talk quickly about those two kind of projects and like what you're allowed to say and about your character in those projects very quickly?
So Superintelligence is about it's Melissa McCarthy, and she's kind of wealthy, and she gets into, I don't want to give away too much of the storyline, but she gets into this tech company, and they're trying to get her to like help them out with some things. And originally my role was just like 2 lines, and I was like playing a male guy in this tech company. And when I got to set, Melissa McCartney had chosen my wardrobe. She changed it. So I get to set, I have like this button up, a bow tie, and glasses, suspenders. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And I get to set, and she tells me like, hey, we're going to change your role. I feel like this role will fit you better. I think you'll like it. So we walk over to the writer. They rewrite the scene on the spot, and I become a computer engineer. And
Wow.
me have a scene where she's like in the company, and I'm like asking her if she's supposed to be there. She's like, basically BSing me. And I'm like, no, you're not supposed to be here. And I started asking a whole bunch of like technical questions that only someone who works for the company would know. And she just like kind of shuns me off. But yeah, that was phenomenal. It turned out to be a great day. I went into work thinking it would just be like an hour, and it turned into a full day. So yeah, I enjoyed that. And Your Honor stars Bryan Cranston.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, it stars Bryan Cranston. And a lot of people have been waiting for him to come and, star in his own TV series again.
Since Breaking Bad, of course.
Yeah, Breaking Bad is my favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
And while watching Breaking Bad, I've watched all 6 seasons twice.
Yep.
I remember saying like, man, I want to work with this guy one day. So I auditioned for this, and I actually got the role, and I was like, okay, I get a chance to work with him. And I'm working beside him in 95% of my scenes.
Absolutely.
He, basically it's about him. He's a judge.
Yep.
A very well-liked judge amongst the city of New Orleans. It takes place in New Orleans. And you kind of see him, cutting people slack who deserve slack to be cut. And you see him kind of dropping the hammer on guys who deserve it. Not really taking sides. He's just a fair judge that people will want. So in his personal life, his son, and you can kind of see all this in the trailer, so I'm not giving away too much.
It's a great trailer, too. Talk about a good trailer, right?
It's phenomenal, yeah. So his son gets into a hit and run situation. He hits a guy on a bike and kills him, and then he leaves the scene.
And then you find out that...
Yeah, you find out that this guy that he killed was the son of, like, the top mob guy in New Orleans. It's like a cold,
just kind of 0 to 100, eh?
Yeah, so then it becomes a situation where it's like, okay, do we turn him in?
Do we frame someone?
Yeah, do we frame somebody else to, take the fall, or, do we just run? What do we do? So you go on this journey for, 10 episodes of like these back and forth decisions. And my character is Alan Underwood. I play Michael Desiato, which is Bryan Cranston's name in the show. I play his bailiff. And I'm pretty straight edge, straightforward. Like, I don't really take any BS like my character. And, when he asks me questions, I kind of just give him straightforward answers no matter what he wants to hear. And so he'll, throughout the series, he like asks me different questions where he's like kind of fishing for stuff that's going on outside of work, but he's making it seem like it's stuff that's going on at work. And my character kind of figures things out after a while, because this is my boss. I'm around him every day. So we have a relationship, and I can tell that something's off with him.
Just the hype around, like, people like want to see this show. Like, people are talking about this show. It must feel cool to kind of see all that buzz about something that you kind of worked on too.
Absolutely. It's I figured it would be like a great show just because it's Bryan Cranston. I don't think he would sign on to a series that he doesn't believe in as a producer. And I figured that, but you never know what the consumer is going to do. So to see the consumer super excited, everyone at Showtime is excited. CBS, they're excited. and people are really anticipating the show. And it's really a dream come true to be a part of a show that gets that type of attention and that type of love. And I think once it comes out, I think it'll be like a cult following, like a Breaking Bad. Like people will just love it, and they'll demand a season 2, etc. So I'm excited about it, man. I feel blessed to be a part of it.
For sure, absolutely. I really got interested in the fact that you said that you also write, and you're wearing many hats. You're not just doing like the acting, and I think it's very important to kind of not just do kind of one lane in the entertainment industry. It's important to try to experiment as much as you can and do a lot of other things as well. I just have a few questions, just in your opinion, what you kind of think about certain things. I'm noticing a lot of trends in terms of content creation right now. One, TV shows have kind of taken on to this own kind of form where they're just like they look unbelievable, like they're shot amazing, and like the production value is insane. Like some TV shows now have like $1 million budget and have like blockbuster value. Isn't that interesting how kind of TV has kind of evolved over the past couple of years?
Yeah. It's exactly what you see. You see like these action shows, like the Flashes and the Black Lightnings and all these shows. They have like $3 million budgets per episode, and they're able to do a lot more. So it leaves the creativity wide open. You can do so much more with a bigger budget, of course. So it's kind of exactly like you said. The stuff that you would expect from film, you can now get from TV as well. And another thing that a lot of people don't really notice, but I notice as an actor, is that 15, 20 years ago, you were either a TV star, or a movie star. And now movie stars and TV stars are kind of crossing over. And, the biggest movie stars in the world have had series or have series. The Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, all these people, like Al Pacino is on the TV show.
And it used to be
now,
the opposite, right? It used to be TV was kind of seen like as kind of the second.
Yeah, it was second.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of flip-flop. Like, it's like, oh, it's the big thing if you have a series. And then when you're off from your series, you go shoot a movie. So now that's great for, artists, because you don't have to choose. You just, you do what works for you or what opportunities you get.
Absolutely. There's something though about a movie. I mean, pre-pandemic. I mean, like, I don't think people are ever gonna stop going to the movies. Oh, I think I lost you there for a second. Are you still there?
Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
A second. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool. I'll get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, like I mean, it's one of those things too where I think there's something about the communal aspect of movies and TV. TV has become that now because, you could be with your family and binge watch a series, you know what I mean? But there's something cozy and fun, whether it's at the theater or now, in your home theater system, watching at home. There's something fun and communal about watching a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I had this conversation like 2 days ago with everything that's going on with, the pandemic and Regal closing, and, AMC is kind of slowly opening back up with 40% Absolutely. Capacity. And there's just so much uncertainty, like, with the movie industry, like, as far as like the theater experience. And me personally, I love the theater. Like, I absolutely love it. I had like the AMC pass prior to the pandemic, and you get a chance to see 3 movies per week. And I literally went to the movies every week, most of the time, at least twice a week.
Yeah.
So that experience is just irreplaceable to me. And I would be devastated. I would cry real tears if movie theaters like disappeared.
I know. There's just something cozy, man. You show up, first of all, it's obviously a dark theater, so you don't really have to care about like what you look like. You show up with your hoodie and your sweatpants, you're all cozy and comfortable, right? You get your popcorn, you get your big drink, you're all set, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I love it, man. I love the whole experience. So it's
But it's just like it's a fun thing. Like for example, like with Netflix, right? I mean, like you do your day. You have your dinner. You know what I mean. You have your coffee and everything. You take your dog for a walk, and then you come in and you're watching a movie on Netflix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just, do you know what I mean? It's like a big part of your weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything has its place, and like now we've been forced to just have Netflix, and Hulu and all this other stuff that we watch at home, man. It's taken away the theater experience, and I hope we can get back to that soon, man.
Absolutely.
It's therapeutic.
When it is therapeutic, 100%. I want to know if you've noticed. I don't know if you might not be like a fan of the genre. In terms of, I mean, working's different, right? People work in a lot of different genres, even though they don't like that sort of genre. But have you noticed though that the horror movie genre is just like insane the last couple of years? Like it's crazy how it's exploded, eh?
Yeah, I'm smiling because I'm one of those people who, prior to about 3 years ago, I didn't like horror movies. I could count on like one hand the horror movies I liked, or that kind of genre. I like the Halloween movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The classics.
And that's about it. Other than that, I was like, I don't really care. But the last few years, we've been getting some quality stuff, and Jordan Peele kind of opened me up to it even more, just because it's so creative and it makes you think.
But does it not blow your mind that there are people like Jordan Peele that are known for kind of like a specific genre, like their comedy writing and everything, and then they decide I want to do something else, and they just become kind of a master of another genre? I mean, another example too is Seth Rogen is known for a lot of his slapstick comedy and everything, but a lot of people don't realize that he is a big part. He's an executive producer of The Boys on Amazon, right? So he goes from being like comedy, and there's some comedy in The Boys, but The Boys is like very out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is extreme, and I love it. But that's why I don't believe in boxing people in or like viewing people for only one thing. It's like, whatever they want to do, just give them a shot. They may be great at it. Yeah. And like I'm currently in the process of producing my first feature film, and it's a horror film. And it's shooting in South Carolina right now. It's called A Haunted Trail. And the executive producer and the writer, her name is Raven Magwood, and she reached out to me, and we were like, let's see what we can do. Let's figure something out. And during the pandemic, she wrote the script. I read it, and I was like, I love the script. So we kind of, got things together on our own, and we're producing it independently. And I'm in New Orleans filming Your Honor until the day before Thanksgiving, but I'll be on the phone handling things with the film in South Carolina. So yeah, the horror film scene is definitely on the
and I'll
rise.
tell you what I've noticed. Obviously, there's a lot of hype right now about them because of the fact that it's October and it's scary season and everything with Halloween. But like, there are a lot of people that watch horror movies all year round.
Yeah.
Like it is. Anyway, it's because it's kind of like, you remember, like, like there was a lot of food trends out there, and like hot sauce was a big trend at one point. Hot sauce was the biggest thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Like that's what's like, horror movies are hot right now.
Yeah, they are, man. They are. And I think for good reason. Like there's a lot of hype behind it, but there's a lot of good projects that have been released.
But there's different ways that you could scare people. You don't need the gore or the cheap jump scares. People are scary. Society is scary. What's happening in everyday life right now is scary.
And that's what I think Jordan Peele capitalized on. He scares you with stuff that's real life or stuff that we haven't really thought about that could possibly be true, and it makes you think like, oh, that's scary.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about like the production value of TV shows and everything, like how it look, but just even films like in general, like, so Us, which is one of my favorites. Like I loved Get Out, like it's one of my favorites, but I liked, me personally, you know what I mean? I love them both. Like they're both some of my favorite movies, but I liked Us better than Get Out. I just enjoyed Us. You know what I mean? Some of the shots in that movie are incredible. Like when they're when they're in the beach, at the boardwalk, with the panoramics. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like it's insane.
I love it, man. I love it. And not the shots, and then the color tones that he uses. It's
So you
just
know what
like,
I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It just draws you in and it makes you feel a certain way. And, most people don't know like that. Those colors and those shots, they make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching it like, man, this dude is brilliant.
Oh, it's amazing. And I think and I interviewed Derek Robertson, who was the illustrator and co-creator of The Boys, the comic book, and I kind of the graphic novel, and I kind of asked him, I was like, what do you think, like, what's happening right now with like these comedy people known for comedy kind of going into more dark, like horror action thriller stuff, and he sees that it's just it just kind of shows that a lot of like comedy writers and guys in comedy have a lot of ideas and have that ability to kind of not be boxed in, like you said. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, exactly.
Which
That's
is amazing.
that's one of Bryan Cranston's quotes. He told me that like one of our first days on set together. He was like, always be a moving target, Jock. He's like, don't let them box you in to be, only a drama actor or a comedic actor. Like you be a moving target. You're talented.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jock, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really enjoyed this chat.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you. I'm willing to come on anytime, man. Just let me know.
Absolutely. So obviously, I mean, the Superintelligence and Your Honor that are going to come out when they come out, and we are going to watch them.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever they come out. So, Your Honor, sometime in December.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, Yuba County, MGM just bought that. So that'll be a big deal, hopefully, but we don't know when.
Yep.
So when I get further dates, I'll definitely let you know.
Absolutely. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
J50, that's spelled out JAYFIFTY, and that's on every platform: Twitter, Instagram. It's just Jock McKissic on Facebook.
Amazing. Well, seriously, thank you so much for coming on the show, and all the best of all your projects, man. That's
Thank you,
awesome.
man. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
No problem. This has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Audio-only versions are wherever you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that. Popternative.com has a lot of really cool content as well surrounding our episodes and some cool pop culture lists and things to check out as well, so be sure to do that. And until next time, this is Jock McKissic and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.